Hey guys, what is going on? Payne here once again, and welcome back to another episode of my Swansea career on FIFA 14 on the PlayStation 4. Now, are you ready for this episode? I said, are you ready for this episode? Alrighty then. Well, as you can see, we've got 8 games remaining of the Premier League season, and in this episode, we are in the semi-finals of the FA Cup to be played at Wembley against Tottenham Hotspurs. It's going to be a tough one, but going by recent results against Tottenham this season with this Swansea side, I think we'll manage to walk out of Wembley and be returning in a couple of weeks' time. But first, yes, that's right, we have to play Chelsea again, but this time in the Premier League. In my previous video, if you did miss that, we played Chelsea home and away in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. We lost the first leg and we couldn't even pull off a goal back at the Liberty Stadium here in South Wales, and so we was knocked out of that competition. So I thought, we're going to get a bit of revenge against Chelsea now, see how Mourinho likes it, because as you've just seen on the Premier League table, as it stands, Chelsea also have 8 games remaining. Other teams like United, Arsenal and Newcastle and Liverpool, they've all already played 3 games in advance, so we're kind of behind at the moment. And Chelsea, they're looking to take advantage of all those games now. They want to go on a good run of form if they want to be competing for the Premier League trophy, and just basically putting pressure on City and United, who are battling it out at the moment, 2 teams from Manchester, and also confirm their spot in the Champions League for next season instead of being in the Europa League. So it was Swansea's time to shine in this one against Chelsea, because already the reverse fixture back at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League, we've already beaten them. All we had to do was try and pull it off once again, but that was going to be difficult because my team captain Ashley Williams, 14 minutes or so into the game, got himself injured, went off with a medial collateral ligament damage, and he's probably going to be out now for the next couple of weeks or so. I don't think he'll be out for months on end, or maybe to the end of the season. And so I had to replace him with Butner, who came on, and as you know, he's not a centre back. So Neil Taylor I had to push over to the centre half position where Ashley Williams was playing, and then obviously play Butner in that left back position. But I don't think it really matters on FIFA if you play a player out of position. I mean, whenever I've done it, when I did it in this game against Chelsea, it didn't seem to affect our performance that much. I think it only really matters on games like Football Manager, things that little bit more realistic. What about you guys? Has playing a player out of position ever affected your game? Let me know in the comment section below, it'd be interesting to know. And whilst I'm looking at the screen right now, the actual playback, look at the substitutes that I made. They're still wearing their bibs that they would normally wear as a substitute, or if they're training. How weird is that? That's the first time that's ever happened to me on any FIFA game really, or on next gen. That's so weird to see them running around in their bibs. I don't think the referee would allow that. I don't think the FA would. I think there would be a fine going on there somewhere. Oh, you've got to pay now 20 grand just for wearing your bib on the pitch. Because we couldn't see your kit number, we couldn't see your name, we couldn't see the team that you was playing for. Because the blue kind of mixes with Chelsea's blue. And just look at Zaha with his bib on, running down that left wing, pulling the ball into the box. So close. A whisker away from maybe hammering off the post or even creeping into the bottom corner there. Akinfeev though, he always seems to have trouble whenever Zaha is playing for Swansea, whenever we played Chelsea throughout this season. And it wasn't going to end there. With just a couple of minutes remaining, couple of seconds remaining, Jonathan de Guzman sealed the winner for Swansea. And I was so happy that I decided to keep Jonathan de Guzman on that pitch. Because at one point I was like, well, he's looking a bit tired, I'll take him off. But I just went with it and pushed de Guzman to his limits, and thankfully that paid off. And so we got the winner against Chelsea, and we also got that little bit of revenge as well. And Mourinho is probably seething in the dressing room, probably bollocking his players after such a poor performance. And that will be the last time we play Chelsea this season, so in a way we kind of had the last laugh against Chelsea. We beat them twice this season in the Premier League, and I'm happy with that. As long as we can battle for Champions League for next season, or even Europa, I'm happy. Our next game was to be played against Norwich, again at the Liberty Stadium, but in the evening, so we're trying to catch up with those fixtures that we've missed out on. My, Bonnie, how did you miss that? Really? I was lost for words, because he had the perfect chance to put Swansea into the lead, and he messed it up. He put that one into the crowd. But in the second half, Romeo made up for that. We got the first goal of the game against Norwich. And what a beautiful finish. I mean, I know it was a gaping goal, but Romeo with that half volley falling to the ground, just smacked that ball. It was nice and light, nice and fluffy of a shot, and it just went into the roof of the net. 1-0 up against Norwich. And Bonnie's the sort of player that if he does miss a chance like that he had in the first half, he wants to make up for that, and he wants to get on the score sheet, and he like comes back better than ever. But we had that corner, it was a deep delivery, and the loose ball fell to the feet of Wilfried Zaha, loanee from Manchester United. And what is it with scoring half volleys at the moment? Romeo scoring that first half volley, as you know, and Zaha coming in. Wonderful free kick from Romeo. Couldn't have asked for a better delivery. And Zaha, we're just going to watch that replay over and over. See those camera angles, so delicious. And Zaha, wow, just like a scissors kick. Norwich keeper Ruddy couldn't do a thing about it. 2-0 up against Norwich. I was happy with that result. If it just stayed like this, I would have took those 3 points. There was half an hour remaining of the game, and Olsen through for Norwich. What was Michel Vorm doing? What was I doing? I did bring Vorm out simply because I thought, well, the ball seems to be moving just a bit quick here. Olsen is never going to catch up with that. So I got Vorm to come out trying to collect the ball, and he was just too far off his line. Olsen with a fantastic delivery managed to pick that one out nicely. And just look at John Joe Shelvey. Wow. Absolutely sensational stuff. Everyone needs to calm down. Shelvey is here to stay at Swansea. Right on the 90th minute, as the ball was whipped in from Michu down that right wing, Shelvey, with a fantastic first touch, flicks the ball up, and then on the half volley, another half volley, that's a hat-trick of half volleys, just smashed that into the bottom corner. Ruddy would be disappointed, very angry about that, but Swansea will definitely walk away with this game now. 3-1 final score, and 3 points added to the league table. We are taking advantage of these games in hand that we do have to catch up with the likes of City and United that have already played. And here we go, the moment you've all been waiting for. Swansea City versus Tottenham Hotspurs in the FA Cup semi-final to be played at Wembley. If we win this, we'll be in the final and making our return trip back to Wembley. As I mentioned earlier in this video, we've already beaten Tottenham in the Premier League. If we can try and have a repeat performance, we'll be heading to that final without doubt. I didn't start Zaha for this game. I thought I would give him a bit of a rest after that midweek fixture against Norwich. He was on the bench, so he was there ready if I needed to rely on him and bring him on if we seem to be struggling against Tottenham, because if you remember way back at the start of this season, he came on for Swansea. I think it was his debut goal as well. He scored at White Hart Lane, and we even won that game thanks to that finish by Zaha. Just 3 minutes into this game, Swansea looking threatening to Tottenham with that volley from Kanyas. Gomez managed to tip that one over for a corner for Swansea. At the time of playing this game, I was shocked that the Tottenham manager decided to go with Gomez between the sticks and not Lloris. And then I realised that Lloris had left Tottenham in the January transfer window, so I felt kind of stupid there. So in a way, that was more of an invitation for me to try and knock those balls past Gomez into the back of the net. On the 17th minute, Tottenham, who are a wonderful counter-attacking team, hit us on the counter, made it pay. Soldado opening up the scoring at Wembley, 1-0 up. just under 20 minutes gone. There was still plenty of time, of course, to try and get back into this game against Tottenham, to try and come away and book our return trip to London, to Wembley, whether it's against Arsenal or Manchester United, who also play in that other semi-final here at Wembley, which would be probably the day after we played this one. Just take a look at this as well. Mistake after mistake after mistake. Soldado one-on-one with Michel Vorm. Could he save it? He did, with his foot, making himself whole, making himself look big to Soldado, trying to put him off the ball, and he kept the game at 1-0. What a saviour Michel Vorm is. 45th minute, right on the stroke of half-time. Could Swansea draw level with just a couple of minutes remaining? And look at Romeo stealing the ball back. And then in comes Guzman, picks up the loose ball. Cañas to Romeo, flicks that one back in, trying to look for Dyer, who is also in the box. Small guy, so it's going to be harder for him to try and get ahead to that. But Romeo found himself in the centre of the box as Pablo Hernandez picked him out perfectly, picked out that bold head of his, and he knocked that one past Gomez. 1-1, game on here at Wembley in the semi-final of the FA Cup. Is Swansea going through to the final, or will it be Tottenham? Normally in a semi-final, a game that there's so much on the line, I would just go all out and try and score as many goals as possible. But I did find myself in the second half being a bit careful with my passing, my overall game. Maybe trying to keep as much possession as possible. I shouldn't have really, considering that some of the team are looking kind of tired, and we need to keep fitness levels pretty high as we come closer to the end of the season. As I say, we need to go on a good run of form if we want to be in with a shout for Champions League football for next season. I was just about to mention the budget, but I just remembered that the other day I was looking through some of your comments in previous Swansea videos that I've done, that you've done a Swansea career, you've played the first season and you didn't win anything, but yet you still received something like 20 million to spend in the summer. So that's kind of a positive, something to look forward to, something to spend. Who could I bring in the summer to improve this Swansea squad? Because don't forget, we got the likes of Butner and Zaha and Romeo all returning to their mother clubs. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting for next season. Anyway, this game, we took it right down to the last 90th minute, had to go into extra time, the semi-final against Tottenham. And in the first half of extra time, Tottenham got the winner, and that was it. Swansea are now out of the FA Cup. We were so close to booking our return ticket to Wembley. And just quickly before we wrap up this video, there is the tournament tree for the FA Cup. United beat Arsenal in the semi and will now take on Tottenham in that final. That's the end of this video, but do stay tuned because we're still in the fight for Champions League football for next season.